All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I just got done playing the Final Shape campaign. This is like my fourth time recording the intro to this video because I am tired and annoyed. I'll get into that in this video. I want to go over what I feel about the campaign. There won't be any gameplay spoilers or anything like that. I won't talk in detail about the final mission. If I do get into spoiler territory, I'll be sure to put like a disclaimer at some point in the video. But yeah, I'll start off with the bad, and then we'll work our way to the good. But the first thing I want to talk about, which is probably the most obvious, is the colossal failure that is the servers, the Destiny servers for today. It was a fucking joke. I don't want to sit here and shit talk Bungie too much after all the shit I've given them in the past and the shit I'm sure they're getting on Twitter. But yeah, the servers were an absolute joke today. It was a colossal failure and kind of an embarrassment to the Destiny community and onboarding new players, that whole type of thing. I know they had just a massive win streak with Into the Light, Pantheon, the reprisal exotic missions and everything like that. But launch day for the final shape was probably I'd say it's on par as bad as Beyond Light, maybe even worse. Because if you guys don't remember, if you didn't play Beyond Light launch, it took you multiple hours to get in, and then there was error codes. But I feel like later on in the day, the error codes stopped. With the final shape launch day, if you didn't play, error codes all day. The queue times to get, it wasn't really even queue times, just trying to get into the game. The server throttling was terrible. And then once you got into the game, you would just get error coded and you couldn't load into any activity. My fire team got kind of lucky up until I want to say like mission 6 or after mission 6 when you had to do the strike. The strike mission was where we had the most trouble because we kept loading in to the Pale Heart and then starting the strike, and then it would take us back to orbit, and we would sometimes load in and then we would just get current errored. But yeah, it was massive. It was so fucking annoying. Um, that's probably my biggest complaint with how today went was, the servers. It was just really, really bad. And I want to give Bungie some credit where credit's due because this is probably the most amount of people that have ever played Destiny in one day across every platform. I don't know that for sure. I'd have to look at the numbers. I know Lightfall was very similar. The last number I saw was over like 330,000 people on Steam alone. I don't know the numbers obviously on PlayStation or Xbox, but massive amounts of people, and they haven't really been used to that. But playing the opposite side of that, they should have 100% been prepared for how today was supposed to go. I think I saw, or one of my friends pointed out while we were playing, that at the start of launch, Astrocross was streaming to like 100,000 people, and then about 2 hours later, it went down to like under 20,000 people, which is just kind of a massive joke. I'm not saying a joke about Astrocross. I'm just saying a joke because people are like, "Fuck this game. I'm not gonna play today." Massive L for Bungie in terms of the server throttling. I'll stop talking about the servers, but that was probably my biggest complaint about launch day. Let's get into some issues I had with the campaign itself and Prismatic. I want to say something good about Prismatic, but I'm going to save that for the second part of this video. So the problem I have with Prismatic, you do unlock some stuff early on, but you don't unlock a lot of it until the end of the campaign and after the campaign. I kind of wish you unlocked the full subclass. Besides the fragments, I understand the fragments. You have to go and do certain objectives after the campaign to unlock. But I kind of wish you unlocked the slate of abilities across the missions. It was sort of like every other mission or every couple of missions you would unlock something new to use. And it just felt kind of slow. It kind of felt like it locked you into certain builds because your starting kit and then what you have across like the first, I want to say like 5 missions, the stuff you get isn't really game changing enough to you don't want to change your build up. At least from a Warlock perspective, my friend who was playing on Titan kind of had the same thing where he just used like the same build for most of the campaign. And then once obviously you get the new supers, you're just going to use the new supers. So like I kind of feel like they could have rolled out Prismatic a little better in the campaign. And that was my main issue with Prismatic. And then my final issue with the campaign was the pacing. And I know that this is kind of no secret that Bungie went back and kind of reworked the campaign. But I like to pay attention to pacing and how the story's told. And the pacing in the campaign just wasn't that great. Obviously, the server throttling issue could have had something to do with that, but I kind of even still feel like the pacing of the campaign was kind of odd. Like the beginning, the first like mission is very like, okay, important, we gotta go, 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 and then after that, it kind of slows down for a couple missions, and then it picks back up in the last couple. So just like some weird pacing issues. The rollout of Prismatic and the server issues are so far the biggest problems I've had with the Final Shape launch. But I'll stop talking about the bad. Let's start talking about the good. Prismatic. Prismatic. I'm going to show it on screen here. I have pretty much everything. I have everything unlocked in terms of like supers and abilities and aspects. I'm still working on the fragments, obviously. There's side objectives you have to do to get these. But yeah, Prismatic is fucking awesome. Song of Flame on Warlock is it's so good. It's ridiculous. The survivability, the ad clear potential, and even the DPS you can do on bosses with this super is really, really good. I've been having a blast on Prismatic. I don't think I'm going to take this subclass off for okay, the day one raid maybe we'll see because I'm gonna play Warlock, so I'm probably gonna have to be on well, but we'll see about that. Depending on how good well is, in the raid. But yeah, Prismatic is amazing. I've been having a blast on it. It definitely breathes life into the campaign, and I really enjoyed it. The weapons too. I want to go back and talk about more issues I had. The Pale Heart weapons, you don't get a lot of them through the campaign. I know, I'm sorry, I'm backtracking, but the Pale Heart weapons, you don't get a lot of them in the campaign, and you get like 2 of them in the campaign, which I kind of wanted to get more. I understand that it's destination weapons, and I didn't expect to like get them crafted or anything in the campaign, but I kind of wish that you got like maybe 4, 5 maybe, just you had some stuff to like kind of mess around with and swap, like new stuff. I found myself just kind of using the loadout you're seeing on screen here, which is just Outbreak, Indebted Kindness, and Crux Termination. And I would switch off when I got a new weapon. Like I don't think I have the auto rifle. I think I put it in the vault. But you get the auto rifle, and then it's like, oh, this is really sick. And then you have one person run it. And you only really need one person running it. So you're like, okay, I guess I'll just take it off and just put Indebted Kindness back on. I'll run Outbreak. Also, the new sidearm, the Call. This thing's really fun. The issue I'm having with running it is because I'm just not used to Prismatic yet, and charging up Transcendence while running, a strand, like a darkness, like affinity in the primary slot, and having to run a light affinity or you know what I mean. It's just kind of hard balancing Transcendence. I find myself kind of going back to kinetic weapons, just because it was just easier to charge Transcendence. But I was also using Bad Juju quite a bit. Highly recommend if you haven't gone through the campaign yet. If you want an easy way to charge Transcendence and your super, Bad Juju is definitely the way to go. But yeah, that was one of the issues I had, and then there was one more thing that I'm I'm blanking on now. Yeah, okay, I'll save it. Let's get back to the good. So yeah, Prismatic, definitely one of the goods. The destination is also really, really good. I really enjoy the destination. This is no secret. Bungie said this in the Vidocs. This may be a spoiler, kind of warning. But the destination is a linear destination, where, it's not like you go around to side areas. It's a continuous line. You might think that sounds kind of weird. It kind of is, but it's also really cool. I don't really know how to explain it other than just play the campaign and you'll understand. So I really like the Pale Heart. I remember what the last thing was. Okay, I'm jumping back to the negatives. Then we'll go back to the positives because I got like 2 more positives, but I have one more negative that I just remembered. One of the big negatives is the Dread, and I'm not saying the Dread, the enemy race, is bad. I wanted to see more of the Dread. I didn't like how, like, we definitely saw a good amount of the Dread towards the end of the campaign. I wanted to see a lot more Dread than we got. Which was kind of, it wasn't bad, but it just was kind of a little disappointing because they hyped it up so much in the gameplay reveal, and then the Vidocs after that, like, they showed, oh, you're going to be fighting this new enemy race, and then you fight them mixed in with other enemies that we've been fighting for 10 years. So it was just a little, like, it was kind of weird. I just wanted to see more of the Dread, and I'm sure we'll see more of it in the raid. I have no way to confirm if Dread is the main race in the raid. It probably is from my assumptions, and but, I have no way of confirming that. But yeah, that's the last thing I wanted to say about the bad. The next thing I'll say is the campaign is really, really good. This is the most thematic campaign we've ever had. This is definitely the highest stakes campaign we've ever had. Definitely the most epic campaign we've had. I won't get into specifics once again because I don't want to give any spoilers away, but the sheer number of times I was like, oh shit, like, it's going down. Kind of like jaw-dropping moments. I just streamed for like 9 hours, and you can go back and see, like, at certain parts or like certain cutscenes, I'm like, oh my god, this is crazy. Because it genuinely was. It was definitely the first time in a while, I'd say since Witch Queen, that I was actually like invested in the story. Lightfall, I was invested in the story, but I quickly got kind of drawn out because of how all over the place and how annoying that campaign was. This is the first time where I've been like you know, or not the first, but this is the first time in a while I've been really like invested in what's happening with these characters that we've known for so long, and like the new lore that's being added on, and also the witness lore is really really sick. The cutscenes are phenomenal, by the way. But yeah, that's gonna conclude the video. I just wanted to give my quick thoughts on how the day one went. Um, I'd be interested to see what you guys think of the day one, if you guys were able to complete the campaign or anything, or like if you weren't, let me know in the comments. But it's just been like a crazy rollout of a day. I'm sure tomorrow will hopefully be better. Only time will tell. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching.